Alright folks, from Zone Mesa here, we're at the title matches for today's Best in the West tournament, our first major on the 12-13 calendar. That is Jared Boscarino beside himself after leaving a 5-pin in there in the 4th frame already. While on the right side we got Lanndyn Carnate looking to end a 8-year title drought with a win here. It's 1 versus 2 in both divisions. Lanndyn's taking on top seed Hatchett, while Jared is the number 2 seed taking on top seed Alexis Atkin. Clearly the 4 best bowlers this weekend. They were the 1-2 seeds. They had to defend those seeds with semifinal wins in our very unique Best in the West format. It's all match play. Instead of total pinfall, they've been earning points based on how long they last in each essentially an eliminator bracket, and they do this over and over again. Some of them have bowled near 30 games this weekend. And we're down here to our final 4. Both bowlers in scratch have doubled to open up the match. Alexis went spare double, and she's giving a lot of pins a handicap, so she needs shots like that. She's giving 45. She's been throwing the ball great all weekend. But right there through the schnoz, and it's the 4-6. Well, on a very challenging Viper pattern today. They started super slick in the mornings. And Eric and Lanndyn have both decided to attack the pattern by going very far to the right. That's a red hammer, folks. Urethane red hammer that he pulled out of somewhere in the attic. It was his money ball last week out at Strike Zone too. Alexis smart to get the 1 pin there, you never know. And Lanndyn has made the far outside look spectacular all weekend long. He's just been nailing it from there. He says today was a little tighter on the outside than yesterday, so as long as he kept his ball speed up, he felt like he had 4 or 5 boards to play with right up that edge. There it is, right on the 1-2 board. It just absolutely crushes the rack again to match Eric's triple, and they're all even over there. Saw bowlers play the pattern from many different angles. Most of the other finalists were in and then had to get extremely in as the middle of the pattern dried out. So Lanndyn and Eric both essentially going up what was the out of bounds. And that's what Alexis has been doing all weekend long. Alexis's relatively slow ball speed has really served her well this weekend. Allowed the ball time to read the lanes on those very slick patterns that we had at least through the early portions of the day. He loves it, and he should love it. As good as Lanndyn has made that pattern look, he got a lot of bad luck in the matches. You know, anybody who bowls knows that match play is a little bit of luck and a whole lot of skill, and it seemed like he just couldn't get out of the title games of each of these 3-game eliminators that we did. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 second place finishes in each of those eliminators, which still got him plenty of points to get up to the number 2 seed, but he could have run away with the top seed. Doesn't matter now, as he's playing the top seed in a 1-game head-to-head match for the win, and so far neither one has blinked. Oh! And Eric trips the 4 out there. This has got to be a deja vu all over again for Hatchett, as he was part of a historic match last weekend as Eric shot 279 and lost by 21 pins to Jacob Buttriff in the title match. He's got to be thinking, what do I got to do here? I've got to stay perfect to tie in a title match lately. And they did that on a WTBA pattern, so these guys are just so darn talented. Doesn't matter what we lay out here, they're not afraid of anything. They know how to adjust, and they just chew it up. That's left. Oh, and it wasn't left enough. That one was tugged off his hand, leaves only the 6. Well, Eric can only max out for 279, so congratulations on your 2nd place finish. I wish it was a mulligan for Eric. Can you imagine if somehow that happens and Eric shoots back-to-back title match 279 and loses by a combined 42 pins? Oh dear. Nice job at the spare. We are way getting ahead of ourselves, by the way, for saying that, but Lanndyn has looked pure. Meanwhile, a nice spare from Boscarino. He likes this format. He finished 2nd in Best in the West a couple of years ago to go with a title, his only title of his career that he won up at Cliff Castle. Meanwhile, Alexis, a 3-time champ. She's won 2 singles events in Vegas. That seems to have been her money conference, and also won the Baker tournament here in Arizona. And just you can't crush a rack any harder than Carnate's crushing racks over there. He statistical anomaly we talk about a lot here on tour. Lanndyn literally hasn't won since 2004. Oh, and a huge break for Atkin. She let the crowd tell her whether she cared or not on that one, and it did. She is thrilled to get away with that errant shot. After winning a title back in 2004, Lanndyn went adult at an early age, and since then the rules have changed. Now if you're 21 and under, we don't care whether you've been an adult or a junior. It's just an age-based tour. Way right. He's got that room, and oh goodness. Like we said, as long as he kept his speed up, he's got the room all the way out to the one board, and it absolutely came screaming back, and a horrible break to not carry there. And makes the match much more interesting as they both have potential 279s. Let's see if Atkin can capitalize on that Brooklyn. She does, yeah. Takes full advantage of the Brooklyn with regular strikes on either side. That's a useful triple right there. Hang on! Oh, and a critical mistake from Carnate. He hasn't shot too many pins on that left side. All he's been leaving were stone 9s and ringing 10s. That middle of the lane is really roasty toasty. There's more oil outside where he's playing than there is inside, and unfortunately it jump up and bit him right there. And speaking of jumping up, Eric's got to be jumping out of his chair at a big opportunity right here. Still using a reactive ball in the right hand lane. He must think it hooks less. And it did hook less right there, and lucky to climb the hill and not 210 there and leave a makeable 2-pin, but as we just saw, do not take any spare for granted. Never, ever, ever, ever. Not that Lanndyn did. Meanwhile, Boscarino opened in the 7th. Oh, and gets the 2-pin to tilt over there. We bowled a lot of games today. I think that 2-pin was tired. And she says, ah, flump, I'll fall. So he's hanging right in there. Jared enjoys himself on the lanes. He's fun to have in the title matches. He's getting down to it here. The handicap still makes Alexis's match pretty close. Eric with that 11-pin lead off of the Carnate Open. Spare working in the 7th frame. Left again, though. Left again, but with the right ball choice there, those urethane balls won't jump quite as hard in the back end there. That could have been through the face or worse with a more aggressive ball as it is, just a 4-pin. Quotes around just, oh, left again. Didn't get away with it that time, but still lucky to leave only the 6-pin. Major title on the line, $400 first place prize, double points. Nice job with the 4 from Hatchett. Hatchett's had some hard luck not to win a title lately. He's been, all the Mojave talk's been about Jacob Bedford, and deservedly so, but Eric's been bowling awfully darn well ever since TPC and himself. There's a lot of depth on this tour. Look out, Alexis. Skid, you plastic ball. It didn't.
All right, attention bowlers. Your lanes are going to be turning on for practice at this time.
So Atkin with 163 through 8 has a theoretical 34-pin lead, and she's giving 45. But it's Boscarino on the strike, and Lanndyn comes in high this time. What is going through Carnate's mind? It's been so long since he's won on our tour. You know, these are just junior tournaments, and he's already tasted adult success, but these tournaments mean something to these bowlers. You see it week in, week out. Money's okay, but it's not so much that. It's the title against stiff competition on demanding lane conditions. These guys want championship plaques, and that is it. All right, nice job covering the 3-6. Meanwhile, a 10-pin for Atkin to deal with over here in the 9th frame. It's all going to be up to Boscarino working on that strike here in the 9th frame. It's going to tell the story of this match. You never know if those lower average bowlers, they can strike out, they can throw a very low count frame. Nice job at that spare. If either Alexis and or Lanndyn lose this match, it may well come down to that 9 out as opposed to the strikes. Huge shots coming up for both bowlers here in the 9th. Lanndyn trusts it. He's got to trust it out there. He did that time and saws up the rack. Jared's going to miss the head pin. With that straight, almost slightly backup ball, once you miss the head pin, anything can happen. I think, all in all, he'll take a 1-2-4 to shoot out here. And just really flip a coin to see what happens. Alexis nervously watching over to the side. Lanndyn all the way back behind lane 40. As Eric has. And we are all tied up in scratch with that strike from Hatchett. Each bowler with 167 through 7. So it's essentially a 2-frame roll-off in scratch. Jared did a nice job converting that spare in the 9th. Excellent count, as his pop says, right behind me. Only leave that 5 pin. Hey, Marina. Would you fill in their scores when they finish? Pretty please. Marina Stever, ladies and gentlemen. At the 5, he's got it. That's a big one. I love the enthusiasm. Meanwhile, that 10 pin for Hatchett. Obviously wanted the strike, but now key in on that spare. Jared needs a big fill here in the 10th as well. Ooh, but it's going to go left. Well, the 4 count finishes him up at 162, which would mean that Alexis needs 207 to tie. So Alexis is going to have to double to win. Double. You know what I'm talking about? Strike spare would be 203 plus 27 for 230. Thank you, Dallas. I know what I'm talking about. Boy, Dallas. Double to win a major for Alexis. It's there. Oh, yeah. Alexis has bowled 18 games yesterday, 19, 6 more, 26 games, 27 counting the stepladder, and now is down to a 1-shot tournament. Strike, you're likely going to win it all. Anything less, Jared wins his first major. Lanndyn did double in the 9th. This is to win. Way out there! Oh! You have got to be kidding me. He has to feel like, he said all he has to do is keep his speed up and hit 5 and out. He did all that. The ball got way out, just like he wanted it to, and he 410. Meanwhile, here's Alexis for the title. It's a good shot. It's a really good shot. Oh, wow! This is a veteran of the tour, but that's a 169 average bowler coming up with a clutch flush double in the 10th frame on a demanding lane condition. Lanndyn sort of needs the spare. He gave it a run, doesn't have it, so he finishes up at 223. Excitement everywhere. Now Eric needs a spill of 17 in his 10th frame, but he's working on his spare, so count could be an issue there. That count is going to be good enough to win the title. What a finish for Alexis Atkin there. Hold it up, Marina. By a final score of 238 to 234, Dublin in the 10th to win. Great stuff from both bowlers. Crowd buzzing over handicap, but it's back over here to scratch now as Eric needs 17 pins here working on the spare. And so this first ball, crucial here. Eric Hatchett's going to win a major title. He's going to get the 7 pins on 2 balls, most likely. I don't want to call it before it's over. Excellent job from Boscarino, but Alexis comes through with it. Gets the big hug over there. Hatchett will have to throw it down the middle, and that red hammer puts the exclamation point on it. Talk about our top seeds coming through in a tough format for top seeds to come through. They essentially got to win it twice because they got to bowl that extra game in this format, and they both come through in dramatic fashion to capture major titles at Best in the West. Great stuff from Eric, Alexis, and Lanndyn, and Jared as well. Wow. Black girls, whoever.
There you go, E.